Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the paper talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford where the weather is pretty mild, to be honest with you. It's not too cold, not too warm, it's just mild. We'll get straight into it. Lots of stories to get through, including a Victor Lindelof update, a Paul Pogba update, a Jesse Lingard update, an Anthony Martial update, and also some transfer speculation on incomings, not just outgoings here. So we'll start off with the most important one, Victor Lindelof. We know that Victor Lindelof was substituted against Norwich with some breathing difficulties. Now the club have said he's doing well. He's having some tests, some precautionary investigations. So it looks like he's on the mend there, and fingers crossed, shouldn't be too serious. If we hear anything else, we'll obviously keep you updated. But at the moment, it looks like Victor Lindelof is doing well, and he's just undergoing some series of tests to make sure that he's fit and ready for the upcoming fixtures. I don't know if he would have played against Brentford. The game's obviously postponed. Not really sure about that one, but it seems that he should be fit from what we gather for the upcoming game. I think it's Brighton next, isn't it? He should be fit for that one. But if we hear anything else, as always, we'll give you an update. Now, in terms of transfer rumours, one rumour doing the rounds this morning is that Anthony Martial could be offered as part of a swap deal, or could be part of a swap deal with Atletico Madrid. A couple of papers covering this. I think it's come out of Eurosport. Now, the only problem with this is no one seems to know which players from Atletico Madrid Anthony Martial will be swapped with. It just says Anthony Martial could be part of a swap deal with Atletico. Now, the obvious player from Atletico Madrid, for me anyway, would be Kieran Trippier. United were heavily linked with the fullback during the summer. At one point, it looked like he was heading to Old Trafford, looked like a deal could be made, but the price was a bit of a sticking point. Now, originally it looked like he could be available for around £10 million. His contract's up in the summer, so you thought he's 31, I think he is. You can get him relatively cheap, but Atletico Madrid were digging in their heels. They wanted, according to reports, around £25-30 million. Manchester United weren't willing to pay that, so he stayed in Madrid. Now, I think he's sidelined until January, but the problem with any potential swap deal with Anthony Martial or anyone else is that Newcastle are interested in him. Newcastle obviously have loads of money, looking for reinforcements to get themselves out of the relegation dogfight and move up the table, and obviously go big in the summer as part of a Premier League set up rather than being in the Championship, being the richest club in the Championship. So Kieran Trippier makes a lot of sense for them. If they're going to go for him and offer him a lot of money in terms of wages, are Manchester United willing to go toe-to-toe with him? Part of the attraction you see with Kieran Trippier would have been the fact that his wages shouldn't have been astronomical. They might have been quite, hefty, but nothing too silly. But if Newcastle are coming in for him, if you wanted to do some sort of deal with Anthony Martial as a swap, then you are still going to have to pay his wages. Can you go toe-to-toe with Newcastle over wages? We'll have to wait and see. One to keep your eye on, but as I said earlier, there's no sort of concrete statement or report on who Manchester United would want from that Madrid team. Let us know in the comments who you think you'd like to see, if anyone, in an Anthony Martial swap deal. Now, another outgoing potentially is Jesse Lingard, and the latest reports indicate that he could be willing to see out his contract till the summer. Jesse Lingard was meant to be unhappy, wasn't he, about the way he was treated by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole had promised him some more game times. He didn't really get it this season under Ole. He played a few games, scored a couple of goals. But for someone who wants, obviously, to get back into the England setup, properly into the England setup, I know he has been featuring in England teams and squads, but to cement his place in the squad for the World Cup, he needs regular football. He obviously missed out on the Euros, was in the provisional squad, didn't make the final squad for the European Championships. So he wants regular football. Now, he may look at it and go, okay, I can see out my contract till the summer, move in the summer and get enough football between the summer and the winter when the World Cup is to get into the England squad. I'm not sure. Maybe he looks at it and seen that Ralf Rangnick's changing things here and he fancies his chances of getting more games under Rangnick. We'll have to wait and see, but at the moment it seems that latest reports indicate Jesse Lingard is willing to see out his contract till the summer. Now, another player who could be on his way out, seems like there's a lot, doesn't there, is Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba hasn't signed a new deal. There's a lot of speculation as to whether he will. It still seems uncertain. There's more speculation as to whether the club are even willing to offer him the deal that he wants. Ralf Rangnick made a statement last week, didn't he, saying that, we're not going to sort of fight to convince people to stay or players to stay at Manchester United Football Club. Now, latest reports, I think it was Mike McGrath in the Telegraph, was saying that United are looking at potential reinforcements in midfield with a view to Paul Pogba leaving. Now, United should have been preparing for Paul Pogba leaving years ago. There should have been a contingency plan on the idea that Paul Pogba wouldn't stay at the club for the rest of his career. Well, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem there was. I mean, you may look at it and go, was Donny van der Beek part of that? I'm not so sure. Maybe he was. He might have been. Some people say that, Van der Beek was brought in because we thought Pogba was going to leave. However, it doesn't seem like we have been properly prepared for Paul Pogba to leave. So there's reports doing the rounds that United are now looking at midfield reinforcements. For me, it seems unlikely that Paul Pogba's going to stay. I might be wrong, I don't know, I'm not ITK, but you just think about it, he's been here for how many years? Well, he re-signed with us in 2016, and we're still having this speculation. Now, on the Paul Pogba front, there's reports stating that Manchester United are going to continue with this cultural reboot that they began under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, what that means for Pogba's future is anyone's guess. It does seem, like I said earlier, a little bit frustrating that we're left in this position. The problem with some of these stories doing the rounds this morning is, United are looking at reinforcements for Paul Pogba. United are looking at a swap deal for Anthony Martial. There's just so much uncertainty. There's no sort of concrete report or statement or story about who we're looking to bring in. It's just, we're looking at reinforcements, looking at swap deals, we're looking to move these players on, or these players might be moving on. But in terms of incomings, we're not really being linked with anyone where you can go, okay, that's definitely going to happen. We've had reports earlier that likes of Amadou Hadara, the kid from RB Leipzig player, that midfielder Manchester United are looking at, he could be a potential signing. There's also the other ones doing the rounds, the usual suspects. Declan Rice, of course, his stock's gone up massively. But most of the stories this morning and just over the last week or so seem to be more focused on the fact that Ralf Rangnick is set to have a little bit of a clear out in one way or the other. Now, that could be players coming to the end of their contract, players that just don't want to be here anymore, players part of a swap deal, players that he wants to move on. He's been quite hard-faced, Danny, when it comes to these players. We've seen him making the statements around Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial hasn't spoken to me, or his agent hasn't spoken to me. If he wants to leave, he needs to speak to me. He's been pretty blunt about Paul Pogba as well. He does have that no-nonsense approach. You think some of the players that are a little bit unsure, or may well have been, I don't know if it's the right word, been able to get away with it a little bit with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in terms of being a bit vague on what they want to do. Now, with time ticking, a manager who isn't going to sort of stomach it, they have big decisions to make. The players have decisions to make, and Manchester United have decisions to make, and we have to make decisions on who we're bringing in. Finally, a story about an incoming, Antonio Rudiger. Now, before you all start laughing over your breakfast or your dinner, it doesn't seem likely that Chelsea would be willing to sell us one of their best players or one of their best defenders, or would United even be wanting a centre-back when you look at the fact we've got Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Eric Bailly, and of course Raphael Varane. However, this story isn't going away. It was doing the rounds a few weeks ago and it's popped up again. Rudiger, out of contract in the summer, so he would be available on a free. Manchester United, reportedly one of the clubs looking at him. There's a host of other clubs as well. It's not just Manchester United, as you would expect for a player of that calibre, but United are in the mix for him. Maybe we are looking at it and going, he's a player that can come in. Maybe Rangnick fancies him. Obviously, Rangnick didn't sign Harry Maguire, or Victor Lindelof for that matter, or any of the players that are here. So he's not sort of indebted to them. It's not like he's tied to them in any way. You may look at it and go, Rudiger, is a man that I would like to bring in. We'll keep you posted on that one. It does seem unlikely to me, to be honest with you. But who knows in this day and age? If United are willing to pay the wages he wants, and he's available, we know he's got Premier League experience. He's a Champions League winner. I don't think too many people will be complaining if we signed a player of the ilk of Antonio Rudiger. Going to wrap it up there. Make sure you're checking out all the other videos on the channel. We've got all the podcasts and all the other stuff as well. Don't forget as well to subscribe if you've not done. Give us a subscription. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And also, finally, check out the 12 Days of Paddock over on the members section, where you can win a host of prizes, including a PlayStation 5. I've been Jay Motti. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.